Westbrook fit in LA?
No.
No.
You know, a year ago, a lot of people dogged Doc Rivers for saying something about Ben Simmons at the end of the previous season, basically in his exit interview, when he was asked about whether he could be a point guard of a championship team, and I think he said, "I don't know," and he was heavily criticized for that. That was a fair and honest assessment. I don't think enough people talk about this Russell Westbrook exit interview, because what Russ said, and that was just a couple of parts of it, he went on for 20 minutes, was borderline delusional. And basically what Russ did at the end of that Lakers season was take no personal accountability for the way the season went down and blamed most of it on his coach, Frank Vogel, for not setting things up and in defining things more for him to be successful. And then he partially blamed it on LeBron and Anthony Davis too, where he said that they didn't change their games when Russell himself changed almost nothing. And so to listen to someone talk like that, when I heard that press conference, I remember saying, oh my God, like, this guy never had any intention of changing his game and has no intention of changing his game. So what Darvin Ham is doing is smart. And first off, Darvin Ham got this job largely because he has forged a reputation with star players of being able to talk to them on their level. And that often happens with a former player like Darvin Ham in comparison to a non-former player like Frank Vogel. That's why the Lakers hired him. They hired him to have these types of conversations with Russell Westbrook. But at the end of the day, even if it's over a beautiful meal, and even if Darvin can relate to Westbrook on a different level, he's still going to be asking him to do the same things that Frank Vogel was asking him that Russell completely rejected. To the point where Russell was like, I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to do what you say. I averaged a triple-double in 2018. Why do I have to play like you want me to in 2021? And that was the problem that the Lakers ran into last year. And so I've been around covering the NBA for 20 years. I have seen players make changes to their game. So I'm not going to sit here in July and tell you how Russell Westbrook is going to look in November. That would be foolish. But everything that we have, including Russell's own statements on the matter, do not indicate he is interested in making even minute changes to the way he plays, much less a massive facelift, which was what Darvin is proposing. So I respect what Darvin is doing, and I wish him the best of luck.
And Wendy, I'll say this. That's one of the things I think that bothered me the most is that, I'll tell you, one of the things athletes struggle with and have a problem with is pride, especially when you have been on the mountaintop and have been a certain player for such a long time, and then you're asked to do certain things that you aren't accustomed to. One thing I think athletes need to do is get comfortable with being uncomfortable, especially if it's for the betterment of the team. But thank goodness for a guy like Darvin Ham, who won a championship with the Pistons in the early 2000s as a player, won it as a coach, an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. But at the end of the day, I don't think Russell Westbrook and the Lakers are going to be salvageable. When you look at all three of these guys playing together last year, let's act like we didn't see 21 games they played together, right?
Yeah.
They were 11-10. The proof was in the pudding when all three of them was on the court. But Russell Westbrook not taking accountability, like Wendy just mentioned, is a problem. When you're pointing the fingers at everybody else and you're not taking accountability for what your actions were and what you weren't able to do and what you didn't want to defer to do. So I see that as a problem with this Lakers organization. If the Lakers want an opportunity to not just be an early round exit in the playoffs, they better do everything in their damn power to go get Kyrie Irving. And here's something else that bothered me with Russell Westbrook. He didn't have expectations when he went to the Los Angeles Lakers. When I was a kid, the expectations was not to get to the playoffs for the Lakers, not to get to the finals, but to win an NBA championship. That's why they're tied right now with the Boston Celtics. It was like that for me as a kid. It was like that for me when I went to college. It's like that right now. That's the expectation every time you talk about anybody in the Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers uniform, anyone in their front office, or even fans that deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. And for Russell Westbrook to come out and say that he didn't have any expectations when he got to the Los Angeles Lakers is bogus and crazy to me.
I'm not entirely sure what this wholehearted plan is going to entail for Russell Westbrook. Darvin Ham's saying the right things right now. Like, you know, Is Russell Westbrook, did he just opt into his $47 million player option? Did that happen last week? Yeah, okay. So he's a starting point guard until further notice for this Los Angeles Lakers team. Darvin Ham can't say anything to the contrary of that because you don't want to alienate the player who received a ton of blame last year. And LeBron James, because of injuries, wasn't there towards the end of the season. Obviously, we know what happened with Anthony Davis. All that fell on Russell Westbrook's shoulders. And Darvin Ham realized that. That's why when he came out yesterday talking about how, a lot of the rhetoric around Russell Westbrook is premature, he's trying to show the player, I've got your back.
Yes.
Like, we're going to try to get you back to where you were. But even Darvin Ham has to realize that this is not the triple-double guy anymore. As Wendy mentioned, that was 2018. This is a 2022-23 season coming up. He's got to have the self-awareness. If he doesn't have it now, go find it to figure out, okay, there's got to be certain things within my game I have to do to change. And Darvin Ham may know that Russell Westbrook could be a lost cause in that category and figuring out how to do that. But until Kyrie Irving or someone else ends up coming to the Los Angeles Lakers, which I don't know if anybody wants that albatross of a contract that Russell Westbrook currently has, this is what the hand that he's dealt with, and he's going to have to deal with it. So he's trying. It's better than the alternative and being like, my goodness, this is going to be an uphill battle next season.
Well,
I don't know what I'm going to do.
You wonder if he's saying that to try to get to Westbrook and be like, hey, buddy, I'm saying this to everyone, but it's like that one conversation where you're saying
speaking
to
through the
one
public
person,
to the player.
to the one player. Yeah. Well,
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube.